What's going on, everybody? This is the Sports Counterpoints podcast. Today is August the 6th, 2025. I'm Glenn, aka AGB. I got Brian and Coop with me. What's going on, guys?
What's going on?
What's up? What's up, man? So we back at it, talking a few things here. Let's talk about Luka's contract. Let's talk about ESPN buying Red Zone and NFL Network. Let's talk about Micah Parsons. We got preseason NFL tomorrow, 3 games, and then more games Saturday. So I believe Saturday. Usually that's when they do it. So exciting, man. Football's like here. So starting with though, I asked you guys this yesterday. What was the most heartbreaking sports moment for it could be watching, career, whatever, but I mean, like for me, I'm gonna say it's probably the Tuck Rule game. Um, so to give you a concept of what the question is, and that watching that game, Raiders were a play away from the Super Bowl with a really good team, and that, saying that Brady didn't fumble that ball changed. It feels like it changed everything. Like it launched a dynasty on their side.
Mhm.
We lost our coach, all kind of things happen. I'm not saying that we guaranteed win the game, but going to that Super Bowl, I think it does change the course of the Raiders at least, because I don't think you ship Gruden out. But seeing that game, and then after all the aftermath for it, and everyone knowing it's a fumble, Brady eventually coming out saying it's a fumble, we all know. And
Mhm.
now Brady's the owner, which is crazy, of the Raiders. I don't know if y'all saw it recently. He was at camp in all Raider gear. So it's just a trip, like to see the full circle. But that moment, man, was heart. It still echoes, and so I still think about it. So that's mine. What do you guys think?
Well, mine is definitely the Super Bowl Jim Harbaugh coached when the 49ers were down a lot halftime, and then in New Orleans, and the power went out, and they start coming back, and they get down to about the 5 yard line. Just remember the Baltimore Ravens defense; they could barely get down. I mean, they were so tired. Got down there by running the ball with Frank Gore in the last 3 plays of the game. Kaepernick those 3 passes in the corner to Michael Crab to a 5'11" to fade pattern to 5'11" Michael Crabtree 3 times in a row. It's just like, why didn't you? His best asset is his legs. Frank Gore's best asset is his legs. We got there based on both of their legs, and we get there and just pass the ball in from 5 yards. I didn't understand it, and it's like there's no reason to even make that type of comeback if you didn't not going to seal the deal. But anyway,
Sure.
yeah, I'm never. I mean, yes, there was a 10-point lead against Kansas City with Jimmy quarterbacking, but I just knew the Chiefs were a better team. I really thought that the 49ers were a better team. They didn't play like in the first half, play a little better, play more like in the second half, and just couldn't close it out. And to me, that's the most heartbreaking moment. I thought about this question when you posed it, Glenn. I was gonna think of a Lakers championship, but I
Yeah, I
couldn't
thought the
because
same.
every time, I mean, NBA Finals, not saying I know it all, but it seems I already pretty much know who's the better team and who's going to win. So even when the Lakers lost, I knew they were going to lose. I knew they weren't the better team when they lost those championships. So I
That's fair.
wouldn't say those was heartbreaking, but
That's fair.
this one with the 49ers, I really never thought, I didn't think they were better than Kansas City that Super Bowl, but I
Yeah,
knew they were better than the Ravens and, didn't get it done.
that's fair. Yeah, that's a good one. B.
So I thought about this as well. The first thought that I had ended up being the thought that I'm going to share with all of you. So I was standard weekend morning. I was playing golf and with a couple of friends. Second hole, actually hit a nice shot straight down the middle, pretty long. And as we're driving over there, I get the first of about 100 text messages that I get that day saying, "Hey man, heard someplace that Kobe died." Like, I've heard this stuff a million times from a million different people. Um, and so I really kind of pay no attention to it. I said, nah. If so, I would have heard it from more people. Then I start getting more text messages coming in, and we play out the hole, the finish playing out the hole, and then I start getting uh, alerts from TMZ, and then I think I started texting with you all actually, and start the news starts disseminating that this is likely true, and then there's a million different people who were on the helicopter at first, and it was other players, and it took a while to actually land on the reality that it was his daughter and some of the players and some of the parents from that team. And the part that struck me about it, which I didn't necessarily know about until later, but knew was the case usually is that his route was to take the 5 and cut across from the 5 to the cut across the valley right over my house at the time, my old house. And so, you know, there were plenty of times where you could look at the route that his helicopter took, and it was literally right over my house. And he also went over the golf course that we were at that day before before that accident happened. And so by the third hole, we were sitting on the tee box waiting, and it started to, you just get that sinking feeling of, wow, this is real. And then it was the next hole, and I was there with a friend, Chuck, and literally we were unable to speak or function. We were, you know, emotional. We were like, and I was like, hey man, actually, I think he said it to me. He says, should we be even playing, you know, right now? And I looked at him and I said, what else are we going to do? We're just going to go in the car and cry and, you know, because what else is there? But my heart was literally broken. And with every single 15 minutes, which is about how long it takes to play a hole of golf, more information came out. And then it was his daughter. And then it was his daughter's friends and him and the team. And, you know, and then it was, you know, he was going there and, you know, running late, like information started getting there. And then then news came out that his wife had found out through a TMZ report. They told her that there was an accident and didn't tell her what was going on. And she rushed up there and she didn't find out till hours later that happened. My law firm ultimately ended up handling a bunch of the lawsuits. And so, you know, heard and learned some other things, but that was the most heartbreaking sports moment. And it was like the minute you asked that, I was like, Kobe. Yeah. And I was like, well, maybe I want to talk about when they lost to Boston. Like, nope, Kobe. Nothing, you know, nothing that I could think of.
That's real.
Compared to that moment. And so happened to be playing golf when that happened. So I was playing sports news broke.
I thought of like gameplay, but that's real. Yeah, I remember. You know exactly where you were. I think I got the messages from y'all. Everything I see was always Instagram, and then y'all started messaging, and yeah, of course, that's a good point.
Yeah,
my mind didn't go there, but yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah,
that's all.
Yeah,
that was shocking as hell.
Yeah, still is. That's crazy.
I thought about other moments, you know.
Magic
They had HIV and that happened around that, because I was going to a Catholic school and my religion teacher wanted us to send letters and stuff like this, but talked about how he must be evil because the only way you could get HIV was if you were, you know, every stereotype came out of her mouth all at once. It was bad. And of course I got myself into trouble because I went and did research and came back and argued with her for the rest of the semester. But anyways, but nothing compares. There's not even a close second. It's that, and then other stuff. And then losing to Boston in the finals, or watching Kobe and Shaq throw away a dynasty. You know, those types of things.
Yeah, that was bad too. But no, you're right. That's it's interesting where like the mind goes. That's why these kind of questions I think are interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't think of that, but you're absolutely right.
Yeah, the Magic one was going to be mine, but I never thought at that time. I was in 10th grade when that news broke, and I never thought, because we grew up around that time, you know, the stigma. When you have HIV, you pretty much have got one foot in the grave. I never thought he'll be alive still to this day. And he's still alive. So that's the only reason why I didn't use exactly. That's the only reason why I didn't use that example. Had he passed away, then yes, I would have definitely used that one. Definitely. That would definitely been more shocking.
Yeah. Just, okay. Man.
That's a good one.
Yeah, y'all had great answers. Wow. So people listening, you know, feel free to leave your comments on the YouTube page, on, you know, we're on Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Love to hear from you, because that's be interesting for these questions, kind of what your thoughts are. But yeah, damn, rest in peace to KB24, man. That's crazy. So moving from that heaviness to, I guess, keep it Lakers, a little bit lighter. And Luka's a bit lighter too, but he signs a 3-year.
A
I think
little lighter, but he's heavier in the pockets.
Right.
man, I think it's 3 years, 160, if I'm not mistaken.
165, yeah.
165. So, it's the LA Lucas, man. I know y'all ain't a huge fan, but what do y'all think?
No,
Go for
Brian, you in LA, you tell me what's going on.
Yeah,
What's
well,
what's
look,
the
I
move?
mean, there's a whole bunch of different things that are going on. I think this was inevitable. We all
Oh, yeah,
knew
yeah,
that
Mhm.
for
he
sure.
was the future of the franchise, whether I like him or not. Although I like what he's trying to do, and I hope he accomplishes it. If he comes back fit and motivated,
Yeah,
he could
can't
be a
argue with
really
that.
great ball.
And that's a start. Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah,
can't argue
that's
with
a
that.
start. That was always my issue with him, right? Is that he didn't look like he cared as much. But anyways, look, the Lakers were decisive. They got it done on the first day that it was possible. It's the first big deal of the new owner who, immediately showed that he's willing to give whatever Luka wanted. And he gave Luka the exact type of deal that Luka wanted so
Mhm.
that he has the opportunity. And I think it's only 3 years to sign an even bigger mega deal with all the cap. And so, Luka knows that he's set for right now and he's going to make a whole lot more in the future because he'll still be, barring injury or something, unfortunate, he'll still be relatively in his prime when in 3 years when all that happens. Because they gave him the money, it's also obvious that Luka is the future of the Lakers franchise.
Yeah.
Which LeBron is dealing with in his own way. He's actually been gracious in public. There was all that dust up earlier saying that he was, mad and might want to be traded and all that other kind of stuff. That all kind of has fallen away, and I don't think anyone's thinking about that anymore. So Luka's the franchise, Luka's the future. LA is already talking about how Jokic is going to end up here next summer because he refused to sign a deal this year and wants to wait till he becomes a free agent, which there's absolutely no reason in basketball to do. Right? We
Mhm.
talked about this once before. Like in basketball, your money's guaranteed. The amount of the deal that you sign today and the amount of the deal that you can sign next year is basically nominal. And if he were to get seriously hurt or injured or anything like that, it could impact his money negatively. There's no way he can make more money by waiting. So obviously, LA is filled with the conspiracy theorists. Every player who's ever been a free agent, Giannis, has been there. And so Jokic and Luka teaming up is the new conspiracy based off of what's happened this summer, Luka signing. But I'm here for it. Not my two favorite players to watch from an entertainment perspective, but they're
Got that
probably
right.
two of the best players in the game. Together, it would bring championships, which is a great thing to root for and hope for. But can't we find some? Can't we do Wimby and SGA? Like I mean, like
Yeah.
way to be greedy, Brian. But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I echo the same things. I mean, this is expected. Everybody kept saying they drafted this as the future, so they gave him his money, whatever. Let's have to just see what happens. Slim Luka, we'll see what happens during the season.
Slim
Hopefully,
Luka.
hopefully he's a little more committed to being more of a team leader on the defensive end. And you don't have to be the best player. Like I said, Curry is not a very good defensive player, but he tries and he plays decent team defense, and that's pretty much all you need. You don't have to be a great defensive player to help out on defense. So I don't know. I think we talked about this before. It doesn't bring us a championship, but we'll just have to see. It's a wait and see type of thing.
Yeah.
His signing is not enough to win a championship or even really compete for one. It's I guess, but he's getting him locked in is the building block to hopefully what they're going to do with trades and free agency with the deeper pockets of the new owner.
Yep.
Yeah, we're going to see. I mean, Luka's, he's been a top player in the league for some years. So we'll see if we can if he decides to do that, we can get some players around it. We make a run. I'm all for it. But it's definitely football season, man.
Well, a lot of people that like Luka, they're only looking at the stats in the offensive end. They're not looking at the totality of his game. You know what I mean? And what it takes to win a championship.
Well, yeah. When you're watching on TV, talking heads, we ain't talking about defense. We talking
right.
about points. Yeah.
Right.
For sure. One facet. Well, definitely. Definitely. All right. So sliding from that, let's talk in contract. Let's stay in the contract lane, but different sport. Michael Parsons, Jerry Jones, Dallas, dust up. I don't really think it's anything. He's gonna get his money. This is what Jerry Jones does every time. Do y'all have any thoughts? Do you care? I mean, I know it's Cowboys, so Brian, so Jason, you probably
Yeah.
don't care anyway.
Yeah. Well, I didn't pick them to make the playoffs last year. They didn't. I'm not picking them to make the playoffs with or without Parsons this upcoming season. So it doesn't really matter to me. I think Michael Parsons is going to get paid,
Yeah.
but it might not happen. So it might be an Emmitt Smith type of thing. They lose a couple games, defense looks bad, and then they sign. That's what happened with Emmitt Smith, and I believe one more player. They waited till the season started, didn't look as the playoff. Maybe it was Ezekiel Elliott. I think it was Elliott. He was another one, I believe. They may start losing some games. Dak didn't look so good, and they ended up signing him. But I know what happened with Emmitt Smith. He sat out those first 2 games, and the Cowboys was not the Cowboys. So I can see Jerry dragging this out into the regular season. I'm not thinking the Terry McLaurin thing. We might talk about that later. That's different.
Let's do that.
But I don't think just because this is not the NBA, this is not Adam Silver's league where you just request a trade and automatically happens and you go where you want to go. That's not how the NFL works. So we'll see what happens. But do I really care? No. But Michael Parsons is as far as those tier middle linebackers, I don't put him in the top tier with the Fred Warners and Roquan Smith and all those guys, but I put him like on the second tier because he's really not that good against the run. He kind of gets ate up against the run. And that's one of the reasons why the 49ers usually always beat them because they run at him. He's not really a good run stopper. He's more of a pass rusher only. But he's eventually going to get paid. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah, agreed.
I think the reason you should care, Jason, is that all the chatter is if he's going somewhere, he's going to the Rams.
Damn.
That would.
What's
that
their
would
salary cap, man? They
I know.
just got Devontae Adams. I mean, golly.
And it's weird because I agree with you. We've talked about this over the years that the Rams seem to manage the salary cap better than everybody else. And then they won the Super Bowl and they had that penance year where all their bills came due and they stunk a little. And then boom, they're right back. Kyron Williams, Puka Nacua.
They drafted well,
and when you have those young, cheap guys who are your stars, and Kyron just got a deal, but his deal doesn't start till next year. But when you have these young, cheaper guys, you can go out and spend money on old guys, Aaron Donald, and guys like Michael Parsons. But anyway, there's been a lot of chatter about that around Los Angeles. It's like, oh, we're going to go out and get Michael Parsons. I don't think Mike ends up anywhere other than Dallas, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure.
But if there's a reason for you to care, Jason, is
that would be a reason.
It would definitely, put a hurdle in the way of the 49ers.
And Jerry Jones's best friend is Stan Kroenke, the owner of the Rams. They're tight. So yeah, that's crazy connection. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think it's always funny to me, and I'm doing it early, but this is my hogwash, is that every time something like this happens, Raiders are on the dang list to get them. Like, bro, we do not be getting players like this, but every time it's just automatically.
What basketball team is always in the mix every year for 30 years, the New York Knicks. Anytime somebody's a free agent, the New York Knicks are always
in there
in the mix,
never
supposedly. It never happens.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
fair. It never happens. It's crazy. That's got to be the first rule to being an agent. It's like, just throw the Raiders out. Man. They'll believe it. So crazy. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I agree with you 100%. They're going to pay him. That's still how this goes. It's happened with dang near every signing recently. I do think Jerry's starting to reach that age and that Henry. I mean,
he's reached.
right. But it's getting worse. Like, as a big fan of obviously the Raiders and Al Davis always, but you could see how, for a long time you were the premier football mind in the room and you still know more than everybody else. However, you have to adapt with the game, with the players, with how stuff goes, and this stuff doesn't.
They're not even America's team no more. That's the Chiefs now. They done lost that too. So it's they lost a lot.
No, this man was interviewed. You were just talking about him, but he was just interviewed, and he was talking about how he made the deal to buy on a handshake, and there's this, you basically, I don't know if you've seen the movie City Hall, but he's talking about Menschkeit, the space between a handshake, like you just shake hands, and that's as good as you need to be. Like, nah, man, one, nobody trusts you, like, period, and then two, no one does. And two, these people want money, not your handshake.
Oh, and everything's backed by lawyers anyway. As soon as that handshake, you have lawyers drafted up. So stop with that.
he's not going to be around. I mean, this is not meant to be mean. This is meant to be a fact. He's not going to be around long enough for that handshake to do anything other than be a sweaty palm that he has a memory of. Like people need contracts that are going to outlast Jerry Jones.
Yikes.
Yeah.
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 Okay. Fair enough. Shit. I'm just shoot.
Hey,
Okay,
you want,
me, got me,
I
got.
don't know if y'all want to talk about Terry McLaurin, but I
Yeah,
know
let's
he
do
wants
it.
out.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know he wants out, but Washington is not
Yeah.
letting him go.
No, yeah,
He
same
wants
scenario.
he wants to be in Washington. They're going to eventually come out with a deal. You cannot go into the season with Deebo Samuel as your number one receiver. That just can't happen. So
Yeah.
something's going to get done.
This happens all the time. And again, Raiders on the list to get him. I'm like, bro, we are not about to, like, especially now when they're trying to build something. You can't. One, just for me personally, I think anytime you get in those scenarios where a player is upset and they end up getting traded, like, very rarely does it actually work when you get to the new team. So I definitely am not trying to add nobody that's in any kind of weird space. And I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying, you know, when you push your way out, it usually don't work with the new team.
Well, one thing I thought about too, Brian, before I let you go, is when I was thinking of McLaurin and people were talking about him on TV, how he's had 4 or 5 straight 1,000-yard seasons. And there was one guy was saying, yeah, he could be on his way to a Hall of Fame career. And I'm like, okay, hold on. I've liked Terry McLaurin for a while. When I look at Terry McLaurin and watch him play, I don't give a damn if he has 9 straight 1,000-yard seasons. I don't think Hall of Fame. Now, I think a Hall of Famer, I think of somebody that a future Hall of Famer. I think of somebody like Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson. Or I'm probably
What
forgetting
about
somebody.
Godwin and Mike Evans?
Mike Evans, not Godwin, but Mike Evans. Yeah, I look at those guys as probably potential Hall of Fame. Well, Mike Evans is probably a little close to the other ones. The other guys are younger, but I don't give a damn how many straight 1,000-yard seasons Terry McLaurin. I don't look at him as a Hall of Famer. Seeing though he is very good and would love to have him on my team, but it's like we were talking about earlier. I mean, a few times, Brian, how the Hall of Fame is now the Hall of Good. It's just put up some stats and whatever. Yeah, and then that's it. And I don't have nothing against Terry McLaurin. I really like him, but I just don't look at him as a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I'd agree with you on that. I mean, but as far as the trade request goes, there's a little bit of posturing involved in this. He's in the last year of a 3-year deal, $71 million. Some other players, what's his name up in Seattle, just got paid, or used to be in Seattle, just got paid.
DK Metcalf, Pittsburgh.
DK Metcalf. He just got 132 million. So this is like, hey, I've got my deal expiring. I want another deal. I'm not going to play on my current deal. These deals don't start immediately. Like, you can go write your name on a piece of paper. You still get hurt this season in football where it's not guaranteed money. This is different than the Jokic situation. They're going to get all that back. And maybe you get a little bit of the signing bonus, which they'd like to front load so that it stretches out. But it's a different ballgame. I don't think there's any real possibility that he gets traded. I would not be surprised if ultimately they work out an extension that he signs for next year and beyond this year. And I think he's probably earned that. Jaden Daniels has been oddly quiet about it. It's like, hey, I don't have any control over what he's got going on.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, you might want to. Yeah. Because if you're Jaden Daniels, maybe, he's relatively new in the league, so he won't understand how hard it is to get wide receivers that are as good as Terry McLaurin.
Yeah.
They are not a dime a dozen, right? They are 2 a dozen. And you look around and you see a lot of teams who don't have that kind of talent, and if they do, they're keeping them. Chase, Jefferson, JJ, but so on and so forth. You get these guys. So if you're Jaden Daniel, a veteran quarterback would go into the front office and say, I'm not trying to jump in your business and be noisy and vocal. I'm not going to be here in the press, but you all want me to succeed, I think. And the way for that, I need someone to throw to. And if you're not willing to pay this guy who's had this success, none of the free agents are coming. And then I have to gamble that you guys can go and find another great young wide receiver and get him to the same level that Terry's at. That's 5 years that I've got to wait for that to happen. That is a big chunk of my youth and prime and everything else. Go sign this guy. Because if you look at these types of situations, it's usually the quarterback mean, the wide receivers suffer, and they don't usually do as well when they go to other teams. You look at Terry Glenn, you look at a whole bunch of guys, but it's usually those young quarterbacks whose careers skid off the road when they lose the people that they have to throw and have to wait 4 or 5 years. By the time you have someone to throw to, they're like, oh, he's a bad quarterback. Well, you got to have someone to catch it.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
Act Larry Fitzgerald. He played with a bunch of bad ones, had one good one, Kurt Warner. And that was
crazy.
it.
That was it. Yeah.
I mean,
Crazy
he would tell you that.
Yeah. Word. All right. So staying NFL, you guys saw the deal at ESPN purchases NFL Network and NFL Red Zone for a 10% stake from the NFL, right? They still will control the NFL, and NFL Network and ESPN will kind of how they'll be both kind of showing games in their own ways, allowing them to do some collaborative stuff. But Red Zone and NFL Network now under ESPN ownership. What do you guys think? How does that affect anything? Does
Only
it?
got one comment, and that's it. Brian, you take over. You know, I don't watch ESPN except if a game is on. I want to watch. I don't listen to commentaries, nothing like that. I just don't want them messing with the red zone. Just leave the red zone alone. It's fine the way it is.
Chris Hansen
Let-
still
yeah,
he's still
let
hosting. He's
Chris
still hosting.
Hansen, Kevin O'Connor, whatever his name is,
Yeah.
let him.
Wait, is
just
it Chris Hansen?
I thought it was Kevin O'Connor. I thought Chris Hansen was on that How to
That's
Be
the
a
guy
Predator
from
show.
yeah.
That's what the Booty Man was talking about. Yeah, Chris Hansen. He called him Chris Handsome. But yeah, Kevin O'Connor, I think his name is.
Scott
He's also in
Hansen.
Scott Hansen.
Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So I got it. We all got it wrong.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, just let him do his thing, and
He said he's still hosting.
yeah, and just
He said
keep.
yesterday he's still hosting.
Okay, good. Just keep. All I care about, keep that format on Red Zone just going the way it is. ESPN, don't touch it. That's all. That's all I got to say.
There.
So bad news. There's already a lot of talk that they're going to add commercials to the red zone, which is the whole point of the red zone is nonstop action,
right?
Being able to see the touchdowns live.
You could, but you could do that creatively, easily. Creatively.
How you gonna put the commercial on during the highlights?
Excuse me.
And put in the
Put
corner.
it in the little corner.
In the
put it in
corner.
the box.
Yeah, I would do. I mean, come on, you do product
But
placements.
look-
You do. Yeah.
So
have them say
here's
it,
what
yeah.
I'll start by saying. ESPN needed this deal.
Yeah.
They have been
Definitely.
circling the drain for a little
Mhm.
while. They've been cutting top talent, keeping the wrong talent. That's called like you could pay almost everybody else at ESPN with what they gave to Stephen A.
Yes.
Why they think that dude is the guy
Yeah.
to drop all that money and then give everybody else. There are only two people in sports that I really, really like seeing and can't do without right now. That's Scott Van Pelt, who's on ESPN,
Oh, he's good.
and Rick
yeah.
Eisen, who's on the NFL Network.
Yeah, he's
They
good.
screw with either one of those, it's going to be a real problem for a lot of people because they are both outstanding. Rich Eisen might be one of the best interviewers.
Yeah.
Period. Not just
Yep.
for sports and athletes, but if you ever watch his interviews, he's outstanding.
Wait, SVP is still at ESPN? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He's
Okay.
He's got
All right.
the 10, 11 o'clock, and he's. If there was someone for you to watch, it would be him because
Yeah.
he always has a gambling segment and the
Oh.
Bad Beats segment.
Yeah.
Like every segment.
Bad Beats. Yeah.
He's got that, but he's also got a gambling segment. So he's always talking about those things, right?
Okay.
And he's a huge Tribe Called Quest and hip hop fan. But anyways, they had to have this happen. I thought it was interesting that the deal was not for any kind of money.
Mhm.
It is for 10% of a declining asset. So ESPN is wagering that, hey, this will help us turn this around. The NFL was basically saying we want to get out of the TV business altogether. We don't want to own the network and have to deal with all of this, and we're not going to have games and whatnot. So it's an interesting deal from that kind of the M&A perspective, and I'll be curious to see how that works out. I don't like the fact that means I'm going to have to download another app. So Disney Plus, which I have to have because I got kids, and Hulu are merging into one app in 2026, which is great. Reduce one because I'm so sick of having all these millions of apps. But now you're going to have the ESPN app installed on your TV in order to be able to get things
I
like.
thought you did anyway.
No,
It's part of
'cause
Disney Plus.
I can go see ESPN Plus and all that in Hulu, but I won't be able
Yeah.
to necessarily see all the
Got
other
it.
ESPN channels, including
Okay.
and this proliferation of apps are going to, if they make me pay $13 for it, I just want it in the same place. I'd rather pay for the Red Zone as part
Yeah.
of, in my case, Hulu or YouTube TV or whatever, and just have it in one place. And if I don't know what they're going to do with all that, but they have a tendency to screw this up. Remember, if you remember, there was 3 years ago, they had 7 ESPNs. It was ESPN.
Oh, yeah. ESPN Classic.
Plus,
Yes.
You-
Yeah.
but then they have the SEC channels, all those. They started
Yeah.
buying all those up.
Yeah.
They need to do something smarter with the product in order to get people back. I mean, one thing would be to realize who their real talent is and who their fake talent is. But I'm indifferent. Other than, like you said, I don't want to see them mess up one of the best products.
Yeah.
No matter what game I'm watching, I have one TV always dedicated to the Red Zone.
Yeah.
And on when I didn't have a game to watch like live with like the Vikings game, by example, I would listen to the audio for the Red Zone because I thought not only was Scott Hansen, he was bright, he understood what was going on, and he was able to manage 3-4 games at the same time better than most announcers. Troy Aikman could, Joe Buck could do with one.
Well, I don't think people understand what you just said, Brian. To be able to manage the way he does and have somebody talking to him in his ear is a skill that most people just do not have and can't do. He is excellent. I've never seen this dude say, I got to go to the bathroom. Yeah, I'm saying, we're staying right here. We're staying right here. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, he is very good at his job. And, yeah, definitely. Whatever he's getting paid, he's worth it. And I hope they don't change that product.
I wonder if they
Probably
start.
wasn't getting paid that much just because the Red Zone has never been a profitable thing. The NFL Network has never been a super profitable thing.
Yeah, network, I know, yeah.
We'll say ESPN and Disney, and they're good at merchandising and marketing and getting that kind of stuff out there too, maybe more than NFL Network would be. So I'm curious to see what they turn that into. I'm curious to see, like, I read some about college Red Zone. You could start using the concept and turning it to other sports because now you have the licensing rights. You got more games to play, right? So as far as like you were saying, Brian, ESPN declining, if you can get more NFL assets to put on your network, you're going to get more eyes, you're going to get more advertising, etc. Being able to sell advertising on Red Zone, like you said, don't mess it up, but you could easily put a little, just like they do soccer games, put a little thing in the corner. He could say this is sponsored by so and so. You can get that money without changing things too drastically in that regard. So I'm curious to see, but definitely, like you said, don't make it worse because it's one of the best. Like you said, if I'm watching on Sunday mornings before the Raiders play, I just put it on Red Zone. So
I'm just the NFL needs to fix a real problem they have, which this doesn't exacerbate, but does accentuate. In order to be able to watch all the NFL games this season, you need ESPN, CBS, Fox, NBC, Amazon Prime Video, Peacock, Paramount Plus, NFL Network, and NFL Plus.
What about Netflix? You mentioned that.
You get the Sunday ticket. Huh?
Yeah.
So smart.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And you're losing people who ultimately can't afford it or don't think it's reasonable or whatever, and they
don't need
they fade off because they say, if I can't watch the games that I want to watch unless I have this one and that one and whatever, I'm gonna go golf. I'm gonna go bowl. I'm gonna go hike, whatever it is.
That licensing is how you get the bread, though.
Having
that licensing is how you get the bread. You could sell licensing rights to 10 networks versus before it was CBS, Fox, and ABC.
But
now you got 10 people I could sell it to. I mean,
they have so far. They have not made more money on this deal, on these deals.
I don't see how's that even possible. So
selling all these, and you can't license. You pay. You create the deal there, but the way that money gets made back is off of advertising and fans, and it's
from
a declining
the NFL
market.
or from.
No, wait, Brian. You're talking about from the perspective of the person who bought it, not the NFL. NFL is making money. You're talking about the person who bought the NFL, right?
Well, NFL made a crap ton of money,
right?
But the deals that are coming up are when you bought this deal, it was based off of viewership before.
Right.
Viewership is declining. These deals only last, I think, another 5 years or something like
Yeah.
that. And the way it's declining, the next deal, which is how it's indicative of the success of the
Yeah.
previous viewership,
Yeah.
is not likely to meet that because of that. It always goes up, but
Yeah, I remember I was
all we ever hear is how.
I remember
Yeah.
I was listening to something where that one network was thinking about buying the NFL or did buy the NFL, knowing they weren't going to make a profit. They just wanted to get eyeballs to their network. I forgot which one
That's
it was.
how
They were
Fox
talking about that.
started. That's how
Yeah.
Fox Sports started.
Yeah.
And
That's
then
exactly.
it blew up in ways. So there's always, you get the right matchup, you get the right game. Like the NFL is still the most watched of the sport. So even if you can get a bad NFL game on there, you'll get more than sometimes a
Well,
top
Well,
NBA
well,
game.
well, it's almost like having milk in a grocery store. Everybody know milk is going to be a loss leader in the grocery store. They're not going to make any profit off of it, but they want you to probably buy other stuff and just have you come in the store.
They
So
put it in a place strategically located in the back
yeah.
centers. You have
Right.
to walk to get there. Milk
Right.
and eggs, right?
right.
You got to walk by everything else that they want you to buy.
Yes.
That's high profit to get to
Yep.
the thing that's low profit.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, now they got multiple streams. I mean, they're
Yeah.
marketing this every which way they can, right? The
Heck
Eli
yeah.
Manning stream,
Yep.
so on and so forth.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. So cool. All right, so you got that. So let's last couple segments. Hogwash. I'm actually gonna start this one first. Obviously, I said the Raider thing. Every time a free agent pops up, Raiders are in the on the betting favorites to get them. We rarely get them. I get the history and the concept that the Raiders overpay players and whatever, but that stuff's done. But I guess like you said with the Knicks, with other teams, it's gonna be there forever. Secondly, real quick was it's funny, but he could do whatever he wants. But Antonio Pierce at Chiefs training camp in all Chiefs gear is kind of, I mean, I get
He
it.
works for the Chiefs?
No, how coaches just go visit, but
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it's pretty quick. Steve Spagnuolo wanted to get him on the staff before and all that. Respect,
did him
it's
dirty.
jokingly. I mean, hey, bro, you got to win the games, man. Like the end of the day, that's Josh McDaniels is gone. Everybody's getting gone if you don't win the games. And the more I look at it, it's like I was hoping for him, bro, but he had no chance of succeeding there. Kind of Gerard Mayo situation. Like you didn't have enough to succeed in the situation we're in. It sucks. Hope you get another chance. Either way, it was just funny to see him draped in red after less than a year, right? Of I don't like seeing red, and they gotta. So it was fun, but yeah, that was mine.
I'll get you. I'll go next. Here's what's hogwash. These idiots who keep on throwing sex toys at WNBA games on the court, thinking that they're funny, are going to ruin arena sports. Because what's going to happen in order to stop all this is they're going to start patting down people and going through extreme security because someone wants to throw these darn sex toys out there and thinks it's a real funny joke. And while I don't think it's funny at all that they're doing this, the bigger impact will be not at a WNBA game where they're trying to do that. It will be arena security practices all over the place that will start locking down because of these idiots. And that's a bunch of darn hogwash that we have to deal with this. Like how sophomoric and immature do you have to be to think that you're going to get big laughs on a big level from throwing a sex toy at on the court while a bunch of women are playing? I mean, not to mention how sexist and how it shows just how sexist some people still are.
Yeah.
These idiots paid for a ticket to go see a WNBA game, presumably went and bought the item instead of taking from their own collection, and then go out there and do all this. And so it's a bunch of hogwash that we have to think about this type of stuff. Fan maturity always has been a problem. It's been, and it still is. Now it's item based as opposed to just word based.
Good. I forgot about that. Good to bring up. Cool.
Yeah. My hogwash is the New Orleans Saints. They're gonna suck. I look at that. I am just getting prepared. I'm getting prepared for our show in about a month where me and Brian break down who's gonna win, coming first, second, third, and fourth place of each division. I'm looking at the Saints here, and they're hogwash because the guy they drafted, Tyler Shuck, he was in college like 7 years. He was in the same recruiting class as Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy is on his second NFL contract right now, and Tyler Shuck was a rookie. in the NFL. But not only that, they got Spencer Rattler and Jake Hayner. And Jake Hayner actually liked it for Fresno State for a short guy. But their quarterback room is terrible. They got a guy who's in the 7th and 8th year out of college, just now on the team. They're just going to be bad. So my hogwash is this: the Saints. If you're a fan of the Saints, I feel bad for you. It's going to be a bad year, really bad. But
Hard to
that's my
argue.
hogwash.
That's tough. Game ball. This is any exemplary sports moment, team, etc. This was Coop's segment. What you got?
And I'm gonna give it to Peerless One Sports.
I like
Game
it.
WNBA this season with Peerless One this year, 41-21-1, 67%, kind of killing it in the WNBA. And I'm gonna let you all on a little secret. I haven't watched not one WNBA game. All I do is just look at stats and place wagers against that. And it's been a very, very good season, including today. But that's who my game ball is
Nice.
going out to. Peerless One.
Yeah, we was out in Vegas, put a couple down. Well, we was out
Oh
there
yeah,
too.
that's right. I put a couple.
Yeah,
Yeah, I put a couple out there that came through. That's right.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. B.
I'll give mine to the Spurs, the whole organization. You know, they really know how to build a franchise. They obviously had that last dynasty that they put together.
Yep.
Now they're working on another one. They just recently signed De'Aaron Fox to another 4-year deal, and they putting people around Wemby that give them a chance to be relevant again. If Wemby becomes the guy that a lot of people think he will, it will be because the Spurs organization, which is still considered a small market team, is working some pretty decent magic. And so, with their signing with the Aaron Fox, I'll just give them a little moment in my micro-sized sunlight to say, good on them for continuously putting a product out there that keeps fans motivated and coming back. Even when they're horrible, they're doing things to make it so that the team is interesting. Also, they've stuck by Pop this entire time.
You got to.
And you had to, but there are plenty of organizations that would not have liked his kind of difficult with the media, outspoken politically personality, and I really respect organizations like the Warriors and San Antonio who stick by those coaches and let them be the people that they are and build the dynasties that they've built. So hats off and game ball to the Spurs.
Solid. Mine is gonna go to the Hall of Excellence, where Coop and I went in Las Vegas at the Fontainebleau Casino. Man,
Yeah.
that was super dope. As a sports fan, you got jerseys that players and people wore when they broke records or made amazing sports feats. It's Jim Gray and his wife and Tom Brady put this collection together. You got Kobe game worn jerseys and basketballs and shoes from certain games. George Blanda jerseys. They had Tiger Woods memorabilia. We had Jack Nicklaus clubs. They had every major sports trophy dang near up close,
Yep.
and on display, which is pretty cool. My closest I've been to the MLB trophy, the Larry O'Brien for the NFL, to the Lombardi trophy Lombardi for the NFL, Larry O'Brien for the NBA, the NHL championship trophy, the US Open trophy. Like, it was crazy. All Tom Brady's championship rings are in there too.
Yes.
So it was very, very cool memorabilia to see. So, and the way they set it up, how you walk through it digitally, they give you a little phone and you can scan an item and it'll give you some details on it and some information, show you a clip from the game that they wore it in. I mean, they just did a really, really good job. It was well worth it. Me and Coop went in there and we definitely, that was very cool to see. So they
Yes.
definitely get my game ball, man. That was extremely well done.
Yeah, and that's who get in my game ball, the Hall of Excellence. So I'll mention a couple of Hall of Excellence. So I'll mention a couple of things that you didn't. They had Steph Curry shoes he wore in a playoff game. I think it was Game 4. They had Hank Aaron's helmet that he wore when he broke the home run record, I believe. And then they had Simone Biles. I didn't know how tiny she was. They
Yeah.
had her outfit she wore in one of them Olympic things. She is extremely tiny. And they had a Pele jersey too. He must have been little too. But the two things that stood out to me, Glenn and Brian, is the shorts that Joe Louis and Muhammad Ali and Rocky Marciano wore. their waist, especially Rocky Marciano and Joe Louis, their waist must have been hella small because them shorts did not look big at all. They also had the robe that Muhammad Ali wore, I
Yeah.
think, when he fought Sonny Liston. And then the other thing that stood out to me was just the Kobe and I'm sorry. The other thing that stood out to me was they had the official scorebook when Wilt Chamberlain scored 100 points.
Yeah, that's right. Good memory.
That was
That was
crazy. It
cool.
was the official scorebook from that game. It was an
Yeah.
old school scorebook, and he got 20 out of 32 for his free throws and however many field goals.
Yeah.
At the end, got 100. That was insane to me. That was sick. And they had the actual tickets for the game there as well too. So
Yeah,
and he
that was
broke the
hard. I
record.
forgot about that. That was
Yeah.
clean. He
Yep.
man,
That is
he
cool.
was cooking them bulls.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then minute to win it. I just thanks everybody for listening. Excited for football. We got a preseason game for the Raiders tomorrow even. So just thanks everybody for checking us out.
Okay, Brian, this is the segment that Brian usually closes out. So my minute to win is NIL. I just laugh about it because, everybody wants to pay the players, whatever, but when they're not good, you want to say stuff. But the reason why I'm bringing it up is because there's a quarterback that plays for the University of Nebraska who was not good last year. He went to Nebraska only because they offered him more money than all the other schools, Ohio State and some other schools. His name is Dylan Riola, and he just was not good. He doesn't even hang around the team, of course, because he makes so much money. He stays in some house, away from, everybody, some big house, whatever, which is prerogative. I'm not mad at that. You have the money to do it. But this is what happens when you play these kids straight out of high school, all this money, and they're just not good. He had 13 touchdowns, 11 interceptions last year, and I just seen him melt down in games. He's just really not that good. He can run a little bit, has a big arm, but you still got to learn how to play quarterback, and he's not good at that position. So it looks like a wasted NIL investment right there, playing that guy all that money. But we'll see how things turn out his sophomore year. B,
Not
take
our
us
money.
home.
Well, welcome to the new world. So as of today, the Trump tariffs went into effect. And so this is one of those FAFO moments for all the people who wanted to talk about inflation, which actually started with Trump and went into Biden's term. And they wanted to talk about inflation and the cost of items and things being set unreasonably high. And this is why I want Trump and all this other ridiculousness. Well, guess what? Now you have a tariff on almost every single country in the world. They all got at least a 10%, with some of them like Brazil getting 50%, Syria 41%, Laos, Myanmar, Switzerland, Iraq, Serbia, Algeria, Bosnia, Libya, South Africa, Brunei, India, but also ones that we do a whole bunch of importing from: Taiwan, Vietnam, Cambodia, Indonesia, Malaysia, Pakistan. These are all ones at 20%. So every single thing that you buy, clothes, all these things are going to go up 20% or more from all of these countries. And people are about to find out just how expensive things can get, because inflation, no one's making any more money, but everything just got 20% more expensive. It's going to be real interesting. All these people who wanted to be these super fans, what they're going to start saying and talking about now that this is happening. This is it. For those of you who don't know the economics of it all, the only person who pays a tariff is the consumer. The people who bring it here are not going to say, "I'm going to come out of pocket and make it all less." But this is historic. This is going to raise. This is basically every person giving the government more than $100 billion in these tariffs out of their pocket, so that they can go and fund ICE indefinitely and give them all the resources they want. This is about as bad as it gets, and nobody seems to really truly understand it. I mean, and there are plenty of people watching, but the general person does not seem to understand what's going on. But yeah, welcome to the new world. We're going to have a recession real soon. We're going to have massive inflation. We're going to have a massive personal debt issue as things go up 20% without people getting raises, and are the income changes or rates haven't gone down, and he wants to be mad about that. Nothing has changed that make it easier, and everything just went up by 20%. That's our president.
Yes.
Yippee. August 6th, 2025 is Sports Counterpoints. We'll catch y'all next time. Thanks for checking us out. Peace.